What would you do if your child, in the middle of an ordinary conversation, accidentally told you something that shattered your entire life? Subscribe, because sometimes betrayal doesn't come from strangers, it hides behind after-school pickups. Victor Morales was 40 years old and lived in a modest townhouse near the coast of West Palm Beach. He worked as a sound engineer, spending most of his weekdays fine-tuning concert equipment, balancing audio boards, and creating sonic harmony, something he wished was as easy to achieve in life as it was in the studio. His ex-wife, Isabel, was 38, an art teacher at a private middle school. She was stunning in a way that seemed unfair, long auburn hair, deep eyes that always seemed to be thinking of something more important than the conversation at hand, and a laugh that once made Victor feel like the only man in the world. They had met in college. She was the girl everyone looked at but no one approached. Victor did. Nervously, during a freshman orientation event. She laughed at his awkwardness. And that was the beginning. They got married at 24. Had Noah at 31. Lily came 3 years later. But time did what it always does, it added weight. Disagreements multiplied. Responsibilities grew. Love eroded into routine. Their divorce wasn't dramatic. It wasn't the result of shouting matches or cheating allegations. At least, not then. They simply grew apart. The marriage dissolved like a quiet tide pulling back from shore. Still, Victor never stopped respecting Isabel. He believed she was a good mother. Even after the split, they shared custody. Noah and Lily spent weekdays with Isabel, weekends with Victor. Isabel handled school drop-offs, tutoring, dance classes, and Noah's soccer practice. Victor was the fun parent. The ice cream runs, movie nights, lazy Sundays at the beach. It worked, or at least, it seemed to. The first ripple came small. One Friday evening, Victor picked up the kids for their weekend. Lily bounced into the car, clutching a glittery art project. Noah climbed in silently. As they drove home, Lily chatted non-stop about colors, markers, and some dog she saw on the street. Then she said something odd. "Barbara, Mommy was wearing lipstick today. The red one she said she only uses for weddings. But she said she was just going to tutoring." Victor laughed it off. Maybe she wanted to feel fancy. But she never does that. Noah, from the backseat, muttered, "She does now." Victor looked in the rearview mirror. But Noah had turned to the window. The boy had a habit of clamming up when something bothered him. Victor made a note of it, but didn't press. That night, he asked Noah if everything was okay. The boy said, "I just don't like tutoring." "Why not? It's boring." "What do you do there?" "We just sit sometimes. Watch TV. Sometimes Mom says she needs to talk to someone upstairs." Victor's smile faltered, just a little. He didn't ask more. He didn't want to be that dad, the suspicious, bitter ex-husband. Isabel had done nothing to deserve that. Not yet. He told himself it was probably nothing. Maybe a tutor who ran sessions out of their home. Maybe Isabel had found a friend to help. The second ripple came the next weekend. Victor offered to pick up the kids from Isabel's apartment. She replied quickly, "Sorry, not today. It's messy in here. I'll drop 'em off." He found that strange. Isabel was many things, but messy wasn't one of them. Her house had always been pristine, almost intimidatingly so. When the kids arrived, Noah looked tense again. Lily was fine, but Victor could see something shifting beneath the surface. The third ripple came in the form of a scent. Victor picked up Lily's backpack to help her unpack. A soft, musky cologne clung to the strap. Not his, not Isabel's signature scent either. "Hey Lily, did you borrow someone's bag at school?" "No, that's mine, but I put it on the couch at Bar Sam's." Victor froze. "Who's Bar Sam?" She looked confused. "The man Mommy sees after tutoring." That night, Victor didn't sleep. He lay awake staring at the ceiling, trying to balance logic and panic. Isabel was still Isabel. She would never drag the kids into something inappropriate. Right, but doubt is a seed. And once planted, it grows fast. Over the next few days, Victor started to notice everything. Isabel's texts became shorter. She became less responsive to pick-up adjustments. She seemed distracted when they spoke. There were more last-minute errands and extra sessions. Victor didn't accuse, he didn't yell, he didn't even ask, but something shifted in his chest. It was the feeling of standing on a beach and realizing the tide had gone out too far. Too fast, and you're about to be swallowed by something bigger than you ever imagined. He looked at his kids, at how much they trusted her, at how much they believed in the routines she had built for them. And he felt the slow burn of fear. What if she wasn't protecting them? What if she was using them? Victor didn't want to believe it, but he was starting to see it. In their stories, in their silence, in the lipstick, the cologne, the names that didn't match. And deep inside, something was unraveling, something that would soon change everything. It started with ice cream. On a sunny Saturday afternoon, Victor took the kids out for a treat. It was the kind of day that felt like a small return to normalcy, laughter, sugar, and a hint of salt in the air from the breeze blowing in off the Atlantic. They sat outside on a bench, watching passers-by and the occasional dog with its tongue hanging out. Lily, with chocolate smeared across her chin, smiled brightly and said, "Barbara, I like Bar Sam." Victor blinked. "You do?" "Yeah, he has a video game console. The one with the cars and the dragons." Victor smiled faintly. "That sounds fun." Lily nodded, licking her spoon. Then, in a voice as light as whipped cream, she added, "He hugged Mommy while I was eating ice cream." Victor's smile froze. "What? At his house?" Mommy said it was a secret visit. He placed his spoon down slowly. "Sweetie, who is Bar Sam?" "Mommy's friend. She says not to talk about him because it makes people confused. But he's nice. He lets me and Noah watch cartoons." Victor nodded, his chest tightening. He didn't ask more, not right away. His heart was thudding like a loose speaker cone, fuzzy and rattling. He looked at Noah, who had stopped eating. "Do you like Bar Sam too, buddy?" Noah hesitated. "No." Victor kept his voice calm. "Why not?" The boy shrugged. "Because he always closes the door. He tells us to stay downstairs and be quiet." "Does Mommy go upstairs with him?" Noah looked away. "Yeah, for a long time." Victor swallowed hard. The taste of his ice cream soured. He felt the world spin a little. He was both sitting on a park bench and standing on a fault line. Later that evening, when he returned the kids to Isabel's apartment, he stayed behind as they ran inside. "Can I talk to you?" he asked. Isabel, in a flowing sundress and light lipstick, leaned against the doorframe. "Sure. Who's Sam?" She raised a brow. "What? Bar Sam. The kids said they've been going to his house." Isabel laughed. Not a real laugh, a practiced one. "Oh, that's just a neighbor. They must be mixing things up. They said you go upstairs with him. That they stay downstairs alone." Her expression didn't change, but her eyes flickered. "Victor, they're kids. They say weird things all the time. Is he your boyfriend?" "Wow," she said, folding her arms. "Jealous much?" "No, just concerned." She stepped back inside. "Drop it, Victor. The kids are fine. Don't make this into something it's not." The door closed with a soft click, but it echoed like a slammed one. Victor walked back to his car, his thoughts loud and overlapping. It wasn't about jealousy. It wasn't even about Isabel moving on. It was about his children being told to keep secrets. About his son looking away when he asked questions. About his daughter thinking it's normal for a grown man to hug her mother in private while she eats ice cream in another room. That night, Victor couldn't sleep again. He stared at the ceiling fan, watching its blades blur into one continuous circle. He thought about trust, about how fragile it really was. How easily a child's mind could be taught to lie, even without knowing it. He thought about how Isabel used to tell him, back when they were happy, that he overthought everything. But now he wondered if he hadn't been thinking enough. He wanted to believe it was a misunderstanding, a misheard name, a coincidence. But he knew his children. Their words were pure, unfiltered, and something had shifted. Noah was quieter than before. Lily spoke more, but when asked directly, she hesitated. There was a kind of guilt in her eyes that no 6-year-old should carry. Victor began writing things down. times, dates, statements, a pattern. Every Wednesday and Friday after school, Isabel would take the kids to tutoring. Every Saturday morning, they mentioned being at Bar Sam's. Each time, Isabel avoided letting Victor pick him up. Each time, the scent of cologne lingered on their bags. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a plan, a pattern, a cover. Victor didn't know what he was going to do next. But the door had opened. And now he couldn't pretend it wasn't there. He couldn't unhear his daughter talking about secret hugs. He couldn't unsee the discomfort in Noah's eyes. The betrayal wasn't Isabel's alone. It was that she had made the children accomplices. And that was a truth Victor would never forgive. Victor downloaded a GPS tracker app on Lily's old tablet one morning when the kids were at school. He didn't tell anyone. He didn't even tell himself he was doing it. He just opened the App Store, tapped a few icons, and paired it with the car Isabel used to shuttle the kids around. It was easy, too easy. At first, it felt wrong, like he was breaking some unspoken rule of co-parenting. But then he thought of Noah's tense shoulders, Lily's cheerful stories about Bar Sam, and the way Isabel avoided questions with a smile. This wasn't spying, it was protecting, or at least, that's what he told himself. The first 2 days showed nothing unusual. School, tutoring center, the grocery store, but on Friday, he noticed a new destination pinged just after 4:30 p.m. The location repeated itself the next Wednesday. And again the following Friday. It was a residential address in a quiet neighborhood, just west of the city center. Victor copied the address into Google Maps. A name popped up with the property listing, Samuel Devlin. Sam. Victor sat back in his chair. His breath caught halfway up his chest. He remembered Sam. The guy had gone to college with them. Charming, silver-tongued, always just a little too friendly. He had heard rumors Sam's marriage had ended badly, infidelity. Some whispered. Victor hadn't thought about him in over a decade. He took the next Friday afternoon off work. Told his manager it was a dentist appointment. He parked on a side street and waited in his car. Isabel's SUV pulled in around 4:20 p.m. She stepped out. Hair brushed, wearing heels. Noah and Lily tumbled out of the back. She knelt, spoke to them softly, and pointed at the house. Just play here for a little bit. I'll be back soon. The kids nodded. She didn't knock. She walked straight to the front door. It opened. Sam appeared. He wore a white t-shirt and jeans. His hand touched her back as she stepped inside. The door closed. Victor waited. 5 minutes passed, then 10, 20, an hour. The kids stayed in the small garden, arguing about who got the swing. They looked so normal, so unaware. 2 hours later, Isabel came back outside, sunglasses on. Her hair looked mussed. She clapped her hands and called the kids to the car. Victor gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white. He didn't confront her, not yet. He drove home and pulled the dashcam card from the dashboard. That night, he watched the footage. It was distant, slightly grainy, but unmistakable. Isabel walking into Sam's house and not returning for 2 full hours. He went to the kids' room where their tablets were charging. Noah was asleep. Lily had left her device unlocked. Victor flipped through the gallery. Most were drawings, silly filters, and blurry photos of pets. But then he stopped. There it was. A picture Lily must have taken by accident. Isabel and Sam, in a bedroom, the bedsheets messy, her head leaned back, eyes closed. Sam was smiling, holding the phone. Victor stared at the image. Rage and nausea swirling together. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was the shamelessness, the proximity, the children outside watching cartoons while this happened. He didn't sleep that night either. The next morning, Isabel acted normal, sent a text about the kids' next ballet recital and suggested a new weekend pickup time. Victor didn't reply, not yet. At work, his coworkers noticed his silence. He was usually upbeat, chatty. Now he was quiet, methodical. He barely touched his lunch. Isabel called him that evening. He let it ring. When she tried again, he finally answered. "Hey," she said, casual. "Everything okay?" Victor was calm. Too calm. "Yeah, Just busy. She hesitated. You sure? You sound off. I saw Sam. Silence. I know where you've been taking the kids. Long pause. Victor, I don't think this is the time to save it. I don't want explanations. I just want you to know. I saw. And I know. He hung up. Later that week, Isabel tried again to make small talk during the kids' handoff. Victor kept it short. She noticed. Her smile faded. There was a flicker of unease in her eyes. She was losing control of the narrative. Victor spoke to a lawyer. Just to ask questions. Just to understand options. He didn't want revenge, but he wanted clarity, boundaries, protection. That night, Noah climbed into his bed. Dad? Yeah, buddy. Are you mad at Mom? Victor hesitated. I'm sad. Why? Victor sighed. Because some things shouldn't happen when kids are around. Noah didn't say anything else. He curled closer. Victor wrapped an arm around him. Staring at the ceiling. The truth was out now. Or at least part of it. Victor was no longer guessing. He had seen enough. He knew the man. He knew the address. He knew the pattern. What he didn't know was how far Isabel would go to protect her illusion. But he was ready to find out. Victor waited until Saturday. He chose a moment when the children were upstairs with a new puzzle set and the house was still. Isabel arrived, punctual as ever, in her fitted beige jacket and sunglasses perched on her head like a crown. She smiled with polished ease, the kind that smoothed over tension without addressing it. "They ready?" she asked, peeking past him into the house. "Come in," Victor said. She hesitated but stepped in. Her eyes scanned the living room. Neat. Familiar. Victor walked to the TV stand and pressed a button on the remote. The flat screen lit up. He selected a video from a USB drive. No words were needed. The footage began. Isabel's car pulling into the driveway of Samuel Devlin. The kids running to the swing set. Isabel walking to the front door. Sam opening it, her hand brushing his arm. The door closing behind them. The video ended. Isabel didn't speak. Victor turned toward her, the silence stretching between them. "I have more." Another from the dashcam, one on Lily's tablet. Still, she said nothing. Her face flushed slightly. The practiced smile wilted. She sank slowly into the armchair. "Why?" he asked. Her voice cracked on the first syllable. She didn't try to lie. She didn't even start with denial. Just a trembling. "I don't know." He waited. Isabel blinked quickly. "I was lonely, Victor, after the divorce. I was just the mom, the driver, the one who packed lunches and checked homework. No one touched me. No one looked at me like a woman. Sam did." Victor listened, unmoving, his jaw tight, eyes fixed. He wasn't surprised. He had rehearsed every excuse in his head. And hers fit among them. "So you dated," he said quietly. "That's not the betrayal. It's that you took them. You used them." Her head dropped into her hands. "I didn't think. You asked him to keep secrets. You made Noah lie to me. You told Lily to pretend. They didn't understand, but they knew it was wrong. That's why they told me. Not because they understood, but because it felt off. Do you know what that does to a child? To be the keeper of an adult's lie?" Isabel sobbed, her fingers trembling. "I didn't mean to, I swear. I just wanted something for myself. And you broke them for it." Noah's footsteps padded softly on the stairs. He stood at the landing, hugging the rail, watching them. He didn't speak, just listened. Victor saw him. He gestured gently. "Come here, buddy." Noah walked over slowly. Victor knelt. "I'm sorry you had to see any of this. None of it is your fault." Noah's eyes filled. "I didn't want to tell. I didn't like it there." Victor hugged him, held him tightly. He didn't look at Isabel. He didn't have to. She was crying, not for the children, not yet, but for herself. The consequences had caught up. The illusion unraveled. Victor stood, placing a hand on Noah's shoulder. "We're going to fix this. You're taking them from me." Isabel whispered. "I'm protecting them. You broke trust. I love them. Then show it. Let them be somewhere safe. No secrets. No doors closing behind them." She didn't answer. The room filled with silence again. But this time it wasn't cold. It wasn't bitter. It was clarity. Lily came downstairs, rubbing her eyes. She walked to Victor and clung to his leg. He picked her up, held her against his chest. She whispered, "I don't want to go with Mommy today. Can I stay here?" Victor looked at Isabel. Her eyes glistened. She nodded. He kissed Lily's forehead. Noah leaned into his side. The truth had exploded, but in the aftermath came something else, a beginning. Not clean, not easy, but real. And for Victor, that was enough. For now. Victor filed the paperwork on a rainy Tuesday morning. He sat in the clerk's office. Hands steady, voice calm, as he handed over the petition for full custody. The woman behind the glass didn't ask why. She just stamped it, filed it, and gave him a number. It felt mechanical. It felt empty. But for Victor, it was necessary. The hearing was brief. The evidence spoke for itself. Photos, videos, the testimony from the children's therapist. Isabel didn't fight it. Not really. She stood in the courtroom. Her blazer too big on her shrinking frame. Her words few. The judge granted Victor full custody. Isabel would have supervised visits. Pending further review. She didn't speak to him after. Not a word. Just left the building, keys clenched tight in one fist. Her heels echoing on the marble floor. Weeks passed. Isabel left the city. She didn't say goodbye to the kids. Just a voicemail for each, short, rehearsed, emotionless. Victor didn't delete them, but he never played them for the children. Noah and Lily didn't ask where she went. At first, they asked when she was coming back. Then they stopped. Therapy sessions began quietly. Noah was guarded, lips thin, eyes sharp. He answered in monosyllables, drew only in black pencil. The therapist, a kind woman named Denise, never pushed. She waited, and slowly, Noah began to talk. Sometimes, he said one day, "I feel like I'm watching a movie I don't want to be in. But everyone's making me stay." Lily was different. She bounced between sadness and cheer. Sometimes asking, "Is Mommy mad at me?" Victor always said no, but she didn't seem to believe it. One night, a month after the hearing, Victor was reading in the living room. Lily climbed onto the couch beside him, blanket dragging behind her. "Daddy?" she asked. He looked over his glasses. "Yeah, baby. Is Bar Sam a bad guy?" Victor blinked. He closed the book. "No," he said carefully. "He's not bad, but sometimes adults do selfish things. And those things hurt the people they love." Lily nodded, thoughtful. "I don't like him." Victor didn't argue. Later that week, Noah came home from school with a drawing. It was of their old house. The front door was open. Inside were stick figures, one small, one tall. Outside, another stick figure stood in the rain, holding an umbrella over two smaller ones. "It's us," Noah said. "You didn't leave." Victor almost cried. The seasons shifted. School plays, dentist appointments, Tuesday tacos. Bit by bit, routine returned. Not the same as before, but solid, honest. Victor still got texts from people asking about Isabel. He didn't answer. It wasn't anyone's business. She had made her choice. So had he. A year passed. They went to the beach on a bright spring afternoon. Just the three of them. It was the same place they'd taken their last family photo. Before everything broke, Lily chased seagulls. Noah built a crooked sandcastle. Victor watched the waves. "Dad," Noah said, sitting beside him. "Yeah, bud, don't ever lie to us." Victor looked at him, then at the water. He didn't say anything, just reached out and gripped his son's hand. Tight, steady, unshakable. The sun dipped lower. The waves rolled in. The past was still there, sharp, bitter, unresolved, but it no longer owned them. Victor knew he couldn't change what had happened. He couldn't erase what the kids had seen. But he could show them something else. That truth matters. That staying matters. And that some promises are still worth keeping. Even after everything. Especially after everything. Some betrayals are loud. Others whisper through the voices of children who saw too much and understood too soon. Victor's story was never just about a broken marriage. It was about the quiet strength it takes to protect innocence. to rebuild, to stay. If this story moved you, even just a little, don't forget to subscribe to Infidelity Chronicles. Because what comes next will take you even deeper. Real people, real affairs, real consequences. In our next series, we'll uncover true cheating cases that shook communities, shattered lives, and exposed secrets no one was meant to hear. You think you've heard it all? Think again. Subscribe now. The next betrayal begins soon.